Welcome back to the Chip and Joe podcast show. I'm laughing already because last podcast we had a little hiccup.
I am not going to mess up this time. My name is Chip.
Okay. I just edit your name and you say Joe from the last podcast. And my name is Joe. And this podcast will not have a hiccup from last time. So you guys will understand who it is now if you're new to this. So yeah, if you're new to this channel, this is a podcast that Hector and I have created. Hector goes by Chip. Long story short, sounds better. Yep. And so roll the intro.
This is the Chip and Joe podcast show. And Joe podcast show. And Joe podcast show.
And we're back. First things first, thank you guys. We are now at 19 subscribers.
Dang.
So we have a whopping 2 subscribers that subscribed. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I checked the other day. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, consider subscribing. I mean, you guys haven't heard the podcast yet. So once you guys hear this podcast, if you like it, subscribe, like this video, do everything you got to do to support us if you truly like our stuff, because that'll help us out a lot. And share this channel with all your friends, family, and everybody you want them to get into, so you guys have something to talk about. And you can have some bonding moments.
Okay, man, this is just the wonder podcast, man. It'll solve all your family problems.
It'll solve your problems. If you're going through a tough time with family, you can be like, hey mom, listen to the podcast. Talk to me after. We'll go and get some.
Chip and Joe is going to turn into like a Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, family therapy and everything. So yeah, comments from the last podcast. There was a couple. There was I think
the
3.
thing we posted that at
We posted that a couple days ago.
It was at night though, I believe.
Yes,
I think.
it was. I edited it that night and I posted it that night. And usually I would post it in the morning and the latest would be the afternoon, but I was just done with it and I was like, oh, screw it, I'll just post it right now. So yeah, and if you guys watched or listened to that podcast, you guys would know the tea. Long story short, go listen to the podcast, because I'm not telling you. But yeah, we have a comment that says 1153 unsubbed from Project Javelin.
I clicked it. I'm like, dude, it has to be right when we started the ASMR. And
yeah.
It was the first word. It was.
So one of the subscribers that commented, he said, "Do not do ASMR." So what did we do in the next podcast?
We did
ASMR. So then he put the time we start, like the time on the video or the podcast, and he put 11:53. It starts exactly at ASMR.
I think it's right when Joe says, hello.
So yeah, shout out to Project Javelin, even though he's unsubscribed. But yeah, then we had a couple other comments, and we had one comment that said, "Damn, that's right, stand your ground because of the story." Again,
and for a second I was like, "Stand your ground for." I was like,
yeah,
I was forgetting. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. Oh, yeah, you guys need to hear the story if you.
So you guys need to understand that story,
tea,
so you understand. Man. It's the tea. That's why the podcast was titled The Tea. It goes in, but not too in to where people know people. But yeah. So that was the comments from last podcast, and we're still looking for sponsors, man. We're trying to get this podcast sponsored, and if you guys would like to support us, we will support you. And hit us up, find us.
I'm not an investor, Joe. But I think 3 episodes
worth
on a channel.
No,
it might not be enough influence for someone to invest.
I believe if you start young, start fresh, you have a good foundation, and it's solid. But yeah, if you guys are willing to sponsor us, even though we're still pretty new, that'd be nice. So yeah, just hit us up, find us. You really want to comment something, but yeah. So let's get into a topic. So right, I called Hector today, and I was like, "Hey Hector, I have something have you seen my Snapchat stories? Was what I asked him, and he's just like,
I'm like, nah.
I don't think so. I think you said yeah, and then what happened?
There's a plane all the way over there, and I already hear it. It's coming straight at us.
You guys are gonna eventually hear a plane passing by, but every single episode that we filmed here, it's just a plane always passes by, and this one looks like a mighty fucking slow one. Usually they pass by pretty fast, but I feel like every episode they're going slower and slower.
Yep. Dude, I saw that coming from the horizon.
Here we go. You guys are gonna get a first taste.
That's propeller power right there.
This one, it doesn't even have them on the side of the wings. It has it in the front, in the nose. Someone had to wind it up before they left. They had to push it down. Anyways, get back to the story. I asked him, I'm like, have you seen my Snapchat story? He's like, yeah, I have. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I think you would have said something about it. And he's like, I guess not. And then, so I'm like, okay, when you see me, you'll know. And he's like, okay. So then I go to his house and I honk and he comes out and then he looks at me.
I don't see anything. I look at him, I'm like, just like any other day.
Yeah.
And then I go into the car. I look at him.
I'm just smiling.
Yeah. And then there is a shiny piece of rock on his ear.
Okay, a rock?
It's a rock. If you
don't touch it.
I was going to touch it right now.
But touch it.
I just look at it, and then I look away. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I've been wanting earrings. I have them on my both of my ears, not one. Just to clarify, I have them on my both ears, on both of my ears. And I've been wanting them for so long, since I can remember. Since high school. And yeah, I finally got them.
Hold on. I didn't even ask this. What did your parents say?
My mom, she was just like, ¿Qué hiciste? What did you do? She was just like, you already did it. I can't even say anything. My dad still doesn't know. Okay. I'm going to give you guys the inner scoop. Not a lot of people know this. But I haven't talked to my dad in a month. And I live with the fucking guy.
My God.
He's too stubborn and I'm too stubborn. Doesn't go well. So I decided I'm just not going to talk to him. And I haven't for a whole month.
Man.
So yeah, that's the opposite of a relationship, I guess. Yeah. And things are fine. Things are great.
Things are swell.
Things are popping off. But yeah, so my dad doesn't know. My mom was like, she just, whatever. And then she told me, she's like, they don't look good on you. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But I'm like, nah. They do. You're just joking. No, they really don't. Like, no, I say, Turkey. She's like, okay. Just walks away. But yeah, so I went 2 days ago with my girlfriend, and we went to the mall, just casually. And I'm just like, I'm going to get my ears pierced. And she's like, do it. And I'm like, okay. So then we went to the shop. I called them up. I'm like, do you guys have somebody that can pierce ears? They're like, yes. You have 2 hours. And I'm like, okay. So we went. And then when we were there, they didn't have an earring that I would like. They had like some, I don't know what you call them, like a stub or whatever. Some people that have earrings or know about piercings or whatever know. But it was just like a straight, and it had 2 little balls on each end. So yeah, it was like a stud or something like that, and I didn't want that. So I told him, hey, can I just go to the mall? It's like 1 block away, and get earrings. And he's like, yeah, just go, and you just have to get certain type. And I'm like, okay. So then I went, got him, and then came back, and then he did it. He was the coolest freaking dude ever. Like he's probably the best person I could have chosen to get my ears pierced, because I hate needles. I hate needles. That's why I tweak.
You could have just got in Claire's, just right there.
Ooh.
And then got some popcorn in Target right next door.
You would have triggered my girl. Okay, so I was originally gonna go to Claire's, and my girlfriend was like, "No, don't go to Claire's." And I'm like, why?
What's the reason?
Yeah, I'm like, what's the reason?
Mm-hmm.
It says outside of Claire's, millions of people have done it. Clearly.
I think it even says like free piercing with the ear.
I'm just speaking gibberish. But yeah, so I'm like, what's wrong with Claire? She's like, one, they're using a gun, and that's already a bad thing because the gun uses pressure, and the pressure isn't good for your ear. It like forces it in instead of it just being a straight through with a needle. So it's apparently it's bad for you, and it takes longer for your ear to heal because of it, and it's more painful. Which is it's more painful. So then I was like, that's that's a valid point. I'm going to Claire's. And she was like, no, you're not. And we would pass by Claire's. Like, I've been talking about this for probably like a month or two, that I want to get my ears pierced. So every time we'd go to the mall or any like other mall that had Claire's, we'd pass by, and I'm like, you know where we're going? And I would like start walking like with her to Claire's, and she like dragged me the other way. It's like, we're not going to Claire's. And then so then I went with the guy that pierced his ears, and I was telling him like, yeah, I was gonna go to Claire's, but she kept saying no. And he's like, well, not only because it like forces it in, but because they don't clean the gun, and the gun itself has bacteria.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to Claire's. But yeah, so that happened, and I kept joking around. I'm like, yeah, so how long have you been working here? And then he's like, oh, like 12 years, you know, I know what I'm doing. Dang. And I'm like, oh, so I'm basically the first person you're trying it on, right? You've been trying on the dummy heads, right? He's like, yeah, totally. Wait, let me get this used needle over here. We're all like just cracking jokes, and like he made it super easy. And then so once he stuck the needle in on my right ear at first, like afterwards he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it hurt a little bit, and I think it was just a shock factor. And then I'm just like, yeah, it hurt a little bit. And then he's like, dude, you're looking a little pale. He's like, I'm gonna need you to like lay down for me. And I'm like, nah, like I'm fine.
He's chilling.
And he's like, no, just lay down for me, bro. I'm like, okay. So then I laid down, and then he's like, yeah, bro, you're looking a little pale. And I'm like, what the fuck? Really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I feel fine. He's like, yeah. That's what one girl said one time, and she got up and she was about to pay in the front counter, and she collapsed.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, dude, I'm just looking out for you. I'm like, all right. He's like, yeah, and then when she woke up, she just said, "Ouch." So yeah, and then the second one, it just didn't hurt. So yeah, apparently it's the opposite. That it should hurt the second time they poke your ear and not the first one, but mine was the opposite. I don't know, maybe it was just the way he put it in. But yeah, that was that. And now I have piercings.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, I'm like, so how long do I have to keep them in for? Like, how long does it take for them to heal? And in my mind, you know, I'm thinking like 1 month, 2 months tops, perfectly healed. And he goes, 1 year. So I start laughing. I'm like, because, you know, we were joking around. Yeah. So I'm like, this guy. And I turn around to my girlfriend, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, that's funny. And then like she had like a kind of like a serious face. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird. And then I look at the guy, and then he has like a serious face too. And I'm like, wait, like it like took me like to realize that I was the one who was like not getting it. And then he's like, no, really, dude, like I'm not joking, it'll take like a year. And I'm like, oh shoot.
I wouldn't have had a clue.
Yeah, I have no clue either. So yeah, he told me it'd be like a year, but I asked him like, when can I take him off? Like, let's say I want to, you know, clean him or something. And he's like, 2 months. So I have to keep him in for 2 months. That's insane. Man, that's insane. You think like you would think like every other body part, if you get a cut or something like a wound.
You know what I'm wondering? They're not big enough to trigger metal detectors, are they?
I don't know. That's weird. I don't know.
Because that would be a pain to take them off.
Oh.
And then
I don't even know how to take them off. I really don't know how to take them off. I'm not even kidding. The moment they tell me, oh, can you take off your earrings? I'll be like, I don't know how. I really don't know. I don't know how they go in. I don't know how they come out.
Huh.
You would think I would know. But yeah, we'll see with time, I guess. I'll find out somehow.
Man.
But yeah, so that happened, and yeah, the first thing I said when I looked in the mirror, I was like, I look like a fucking douche. I look like such a douche. I'm like, yep, I checked the fucking mark. I checked that box so hard. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that was my whole experience. It wasn't a bad experience. If you're contemplating, if you're thinking about it, just find out somebody who's good at it, somebody who has patience with, people, first timers, and you'll be solid. Like, that's literally all you need. And yeah, that was it. So let's talk about you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You said last podcast you were gonna watch that Dragon Ball Z movie.
Heck yeah, dude!
So give us
we
first
were
of all,
so hyped for that, man. It was me, my cousin Fabian, and my brother, and then dude, we're blasting the theme song to the movie, like on our way to the movie theater.
Just
and
mobbing.
before we even got in the car, dude.
Wait, you guys are in the car. You're like, I never drive fast, never speed. Obey the law. But as soon as a Dragon Ball Z movie Dragon Ball Z theme song plays, you're like swerving.
We're drifting, man. We're freaking going Super Saiyan in that car, man.
You're doing 100 plus on a freaking small street.
Just imagine, like an average Joe. He's just driving his own car, waiting at a stoplight.
He's driving a Prius,
and then all of a sudden you hear like Japanese music, and all of a sudden us passing by.
He tries to catch up, pulls up beside you. You guys are just banging your head. You're banging your head so hard you're hitting your steering wheel, but you feel nothing because you're so hyped. Your adrenaline just kicking in. You're like just hitting your steering wheel with the head banging to the max.
Oh heck yeah!
Your speakers at this point are just blown out. It's like. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, but the movie was really good. I really liked it. Dude, it was packed, dude.
I bet.
It was freaking packed. They were always getting out of their seats and they had to cross by us all the time.
Damn.
And it was because we're in the edge, so they have to get through us.
Has there been other Dragon Ball Z movies? As somebody who doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball, has there been other Dragon Ball Z movies?
Yeah, I think there's
I know there's a really bad one. But we don't talk about that one.
There's a bad one.
We don't talk about that one, though. I'm talking about animation. Has there been other animations? And if there is, how were those compared to this one?
Oh, even the creators, they said this is the best one.
The best work they've done, best one, the one that they like the most.
Okay. I think it's double digits. It's either 12 or 17 movies Dragon Ball movies ever.
Whoa.
I'm not in theaters.
Okay, yeah. So how many in theaters?
Fudge. I think
probably a handful, right?
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say 5 maybe.
So what would you give this movie for somebody who didn't get to see it, limited time? That one only came out for 3 days?
I don't know. I talked to someone the other day. He was messaging me. He's like, because I'm selling some figures. He's like, man, I saw the Broly movie, the Dragon Ball movie yesterday. I'm like, oh really? And yesterday it was the 23rd. I'm like, oh shoot.
So then it had to have been more than a week, maybe.
Yeah.
But, obviously they're gonna sell tickets if people are going to watch it.
Yeah.
The moment that they start reducing the amount of people that come in or whatever, then that's when they'll cancel it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's good. What would you rate it out of 10?
Ooh.
Being a harsh critic, not biased, as a movie alone.
Everyone would say 10. I think I say 9.
Uh-huh.
Because in anime you picture 2D, right?
Right.
Sometimes they have CGI. They mix CGI in there.
Whoa.
And I'm not the biggest fan of CGI.
I don't like it.
So yeah, that's the only reason. But a lot of people like it. A lot of CGI. So
yeah, I guess they tried making it worth being a movie.
Yeah.
Trying
dude, there's this one part where it puts you in the view of the villain. Whoa. So he has his hands out. And he's fighting. That was badass.
What the heck?
That was badass. I was like, holy cow. And then, so we're watching the whole movie, and then it ends, and then I hear a voice behind me,
Oh.
directly behind me,
Oh no!
and then he's like, "Yeah, I really like the movie."
Shut
And
up!
then- yep.
Shut up!
Yep.
You're
He's like-
lying! You're lying!
Yep. He's like, "You think there's something after the credit?" Or,
No! You're
I'm
lying.
like, I turn back. I'm like, Dennis?
Oh my
Dennis, you were behind me the whole time? I said that. I
What?
said that. And then he just looks at me. It's dark. I don't even know if he could see me or recognize me.
I know Dennis. Okay. First of all, if you guys don't know what we're even talking about, this is a holy shit moment. Like, okay, so Dennis, I worked with at the movies, and I introduced Dennis to Hector. So Hector now knows Dennis. So, what are the odds that you
He's
go
right
watch
behind me, dude.
you go watch a movie, a Dragon Ball Z movie? Obviously, both of you guys are into it. But directly behind you, you just hear that voice and it just clicks in your head. I can imagine. Like, just imagine just watching a movie and, like, you hear somebody's voice that you automatically know who it is. Hold for plane.
Damn, that one had two
That one,
propellers.
yeah, that one was hardcore. Holy crap. But imagine, you're just sitting, watching your movie, it's done, and then you start hearing people in the back talking, and you're like, I know that voice like the back of my freaking hand. You turn around, you're like, oh my God. What are the odds?
Dude,
That's
it was so
crazy.
funny. But then it's funny. I said, "Hey, what's up, Dennis?" And then he just stares at me. He's like, I didn't even think he said anything. He might have said, "Hey."
Yeah,
And
he was
then-
probably really confused if he didn't get to see you.
Yeah. And then I walked away, and then the people he was with, he's like, "Wow, fucked up, Dennis." 'Cause he didn't say anything. And I just laughed.
That's funny. That's
Dude,
funny.
it's funny. My brother also saw his teacher. One of his teachers went.
Whoa.
And then the teacher saw him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? You excited?" And then my brother's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see. That's so weird to see your
Yeah.
teacher in an anime movie.
Yeah, that's gotta be
But he
weird.
was cool. He was cool. He was young.
Oh,
But yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that's right.
really funny. That's a holy shit moment.
Yeah.
That's when this is the moment when you know that the city you're living in is too small. It's
Yep.
too small.
Yeah, there's like two main theaters here.
Yeah. It's too small for you to have that occurrence. Like, and I can't even talk about the amount of time shit like seeing people I know. Every single time I go out, I see somebody I know. Just the way it works. I can't question it. It just works like that.
Yeah.
But it's insane. I think that's when you know the city just is too small.
Man, there was different times, man. There was earlier times.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah.
that was the first XD showing.
Yeah.
So if Brenda stayed right behind me, it's funny.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a story that happened today, actually, a couple hours ago.
Ooh.
I thought this was the funniest thing ever.
You were in school a couple hours ago.
Exactly. This happened in school.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Putting the pieces together, homie.
Yeah.
Call me Sherlock Holmes.
I'm going to change the podcast name to Sherlock Holmes and Joe Show. Solving the clues of Joe. Anyways, I was in class. It was the beginning of class. The teacher's handing us mints. You know, just, I don't know why. He's old. He's an old teacher. Old teacher just.
Dang, I wish I had that class.
Yeah, he was handing out donuts in the morning too. So this was a second class and he was handing out mints.
Dang.
So it's the same teacher. I went for one class and the other class, and they're different classes, but same guy. Talks forever, curses every other word, and he's an old guy. Has like a lisp too. It's just funny. He just curses, and he'll be like, "Yeah, that fucking shit." For anything, he'll be like, "Yeah, you'll go to the dealership," because I'm trying to be a technician, an automotive technician, work on cars. So he'll be like, "Yeah, in the automotive industry, you know, shit happens every fucking day. Every time you walk around, shit happens. Bummer." He always says, that's his catchphrase, bummer. So he was handing out mints, and he came up to me. And I don't know what possessed me to say this, because I would never say this to any other teacher. But since I know how he is, and he knows how I am, because I've talked to him a couple times, I was just like, "Hey, Chuck," because his name's Chuck. I'm like, "Hey, Chuck, you want to buy some drugs?"
my god.
And he just, God damn it, Planes. And he just looks at me and just smiles, like the biggest smile. He has like a big mustache, like it just covers his mouth, but he's just smiling. Like I know he's just smirking. But as soon as I said drugs, there was 2 kids in front of me. They they twirled their head like an owl and just stared at me in my soul. And I was like, holy, like that made me laugh. And I was like, holy shit. And I had my buddy beside me and I'm just like, dude, these 2 guys just fucking, they got whiplash or some shit, just cracked their neck. And they turned around and just stared at me. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I guess I said it too loud or something, but yeah. And Chuck just laughed. And yeah. That was fucking weird. The whole thing was weird. But yeah, that was
good old Chuck.
Yeah, good old Chuck. Shout out Chuck. But yeah, that was really funny. You had to be there. Like I can't even explain. Like the whole story doesn't make justice for how I felt. But yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, that was my story.
Huh.
Do you want me to do the Chip and Joe show news?
Yeah. We need that each week, man.
Yeah, I have a good one.
Hope you guys are ready to learn.
All right, I need your phone for a minute.
Where did I put my phone?
Where'd your phone
Where'd it go?
Ah, shit.
Oh, where's my phone? Where's my phone?
Actually, no, I can use my phone. I have my phone.
Okay.
I'll just put... I went on the calculator. Never mind. No. I need to go on the timer. 1 minuto. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back to Ship Show. I just like saying gibberish. Anyways, are you looking to shift gears in your career? Well, now may be your chance because Oscar Mayer is looking for their next Wienermobile driver.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Wienermobile is that big-ass wiener that they have. It's and it's on wheels, and people can drive it. People can drive that. They drive that as a job. That's fucking cool. And you just park it at a parking lot, and that happens. Anyways, okay, I have like a couple seconds. What's a Wienermobile, you may be asking? It's a 27-foot-long hot dog on wheels. And it's in need of its next hot dogger. Oh my god. So the new hire will represent the company as a goodwill ambassador while traveling from coast to coast doing interviews and media appearances. The application simply asks for an enthusiastic, creative college graduate with a fuck. Timer's done. Oh well, you guys may never know. I'm kidding. I'm gonna just skip to the good stuff because this made me be like, what the fuck? You have to. Okay, applicants must have a bachelor's, preferably in communications, public relations, journalism, advertising, or marketing.
Shoot.
So you have to have a BA or a BS. So you have to go to college to drive a wiener.
I just realized.
That is a life fucking goal.
My gosh.
I'm trying to
I think
drive
anyone
a
would
wiener.
anyone would want to be a professional
Shit,
hot
I
dog.
would give my wiener for a wiener. Shit. God, 27 foot long?
That's a lot of dogs, man.
I was about to spit on my water. I'm going.
Oh, that was one too many dogs.
Oh, that was 27 foot long dog. Oh my god. Woo. That was a good story. When I read this, I was in class and I couldn't stop smiling. No, wait. This was my idea or why it was so funny to me. You know, you're dating a girl. You know, you get to date for a couple years. Eventually you meet the family. You know, the fam bam, as they like to call it. And you talk to the mom, you talk to the dad. Everything's going good. And then they're like, so what do you do? Where do you work at? I work driving a wiener. They're like, what do we say to that? Like, what do you say to somebody who says, I drive a wiener? I went to school for 4 years. I'm in debt for $36,000. And I drive a wiener. Oh man.
Oh gosh.
that was Shipper
Chipper
News. Oh man. So you said you before the podcast started, you had a spooky story.
Fuck yeah, dude. Okay.
Oh, he's rubbing his hands. This shit gotta be moist.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, and this is the first time listening to this podcast, we say moist in every episode, and we try to sneak it in casually. So that was us trying to do it casually.
Okay, so like 3 days ago,
All right.
it all started with a scary movie. Me and my mom wanted to watch a scary movie, so we saw one. It was called Mara, and the gist of it is, some demon chick like marks you. And then you wake up with sleep paralysis. You can't move.
Oh shit!
And then your body starts to like sink into the bed that you're sleeping on. And then she comes and she goes on you and then she chokes you to death. All right, that's the gist of the movie. It was a cool movie. There's like different stages to it too.
Kinky.
And 2 days after that, I was having a dream.
Oh shit!
And then
Martin Luther King just passed by.
He approves
He
this.
approves this shit.
So I had a dream.
Oh my fucking god! That was too perfect.
I wasn't trying to sound like it.
I know. That's why I knew you were being genuine. That's what was so funny. Go.
Okay. I'm not gonna say that again.
Okay. We're having a dream. Okay.
And then it starts turning scary.
Oh fuck.
Like imagine like a flip book. It's just in your face. It has a bunch of random words like boy, girl, and all different font and different designs. And then it goes faster and faster.
Whoa.
And then all of a sudden the words only say Hector, 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 Hector,
Oh.
Hector, Hector. And then as it's flipping through, it hears the word yes, that's the page flipping right there. And then it's saying Hector, Hector, Hector. And
Oh
then
shit.
you hear words to say you're going to see it. And then the last page was an arrow to the right.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
I would not have looked.
Dude, I woke up at that exact instant. And then
I looked to my right.
I looked up, and then, dude, my fucking body was sinking into my bed.
Shut up.
Yep,
Shut up.
it was sinking. And I'm like, and then I looked to my right.
No.
I looked to my right, dude. And then I'm like, wait, no. No. And I looked to my left. I'm like, I'm not going to see it. And finally, I'm able to move.
Oh
and then my body starts feeling light again.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. What am I on? and I start to go back to sleep.
Uh-huh.
And then my body starts feeling heavy again.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, fuck this. And then I turn around, I go on my belly because I do not want to be on my back for that.
You start sinking in face first.
Yeah, I do.
You're like, I can't
Imagine
breathe now.
Dude, I just went into like a little fetal position.
Oh my god.
Hugging my pillow. And then I went back to sleep.
You knock at your mom's door. Mom, I can't sleep.
Dude, I told her the morning of.
What'd she say?
She says like, oh shoot. But she's always scared of like ghosts and stuff.
Oh man.
Like every time she be in the kitchen, she's like, Luis, that's my other head. She calls me Luis.
Uh-huh.
He's like, there's small handprints on the fridge again.
Oh my fucking god.
And there'll be a small handprint. We're like, where does that come from?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Did you? Because like the joke of he has small hands.
So that's a spooky.
Damn.
That's my first time.
Damn. So
being like semi-paralyzed when I woke up, because I've never had that. Fabianis told me that he's had that. My cousin's friend told me he's had that.
Dude, I can't even
Like,
remember
all
what
the
I
time.
ate for freaking breakfast.
I know. I remember my dreams all the time, Joe. You can't remember.
Nope. Don't. No, what happens to me is I wake up with an idea.
Oh, you say you write it down.
write it
I'm
down.
not awake. I'm not awake enough to be able to write. Like,
I get
to have the energy to go to my phone and write. I just want to go back to sleep.
I have a burst of energy. Like I'll wake up with like the idea of like conquering the world. No, not like conquering the world, but like the motivation to like be like, I'm gonna conquer the world today. It's gonna be my day today because I wake up with like a crazy idea. It just clicks to me. I don't know.
It sucks. Okay, so I work in the Oxnard Swap Meet on Sundays. Oh, you guys didn't know that.
Social Security, give it away. Might as well.
So, the Saturday night, the whole freaking dream is me in the swamp meet.
Oh.
And then I wake up, and then I really have to go to the swamp meet. So it's like a double whammy.
That's like a double shift.
I don't even get to escape it in my dreams, Joe.
Damn.
So it just feels tiring.
Yeah. No.
I'm there in my sleep, Joe.
I've come to the point at work where I used to hate going into work, and now I feel like I'm just like, all right, let's do it. 10-hour shift, okay. I worked 10 hours yesterday, so I mean,
Fudge.
Yeah, it's not the best, but I mean, when the paycheck comes in, I'm like, okay, I can't complain.
My gosh, I don't know how you did it in the rain. Those rainy days.
Oh, raining, it sucks. It sucks so bad. My feet would get so wet. It was disgusting.
Not that he works outside,
No.
like you would in a dealership.
No,
In
what?
some dealership, no, you know.
No. Yeah, dealers have roofs. Dealers have roofs, yeah. We're gonna be working out in the field? What?
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. I mean, like, you can't be working cars outside. Yeah, it's exhausting. All right. Let's get into a topic that'll ultimately end the podcast with.
All right. I don't know any of these topics, by the way. Joe writes them on his phone.
Yeah, I never like talking about them because it gives him like
first time impressions.
Yeah. It's first time impression, like whatever you think.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I don't know. I thought of because at work something happened. So my question is, first off, the question I'm gonna ask it, and then I'll say the story on why it like even became. So, should old people drive, and should there be an age limit?
Oh gosh, I've heard this question before.
Yeah. And okay, so let me just get into the story real quick. So, I'm gonna burst the bubble. I work at a dealership. If you guys
whoa, wait, hold on. It just snapped me. You exposed yourself?
I gave my social security.
They didn't even have a hint. There was no clue leading to dealerships.
We don't even
talk
about dealerships.
No cookies.
No oatmeal raisin cookies that they have ran out of recently.
And you're gonna spill the beans?
I'm sorry, dealership. You know, they all have budget cuts. And it just so happens to be oatmeal raisin. But yeah, I work at a dealership, and the other day I was randomly, in my shift, a car pulls up to the drive, for service.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to be an older couple, and I happen to see the car shaking crazy.
Shoot.
So I'm like, what the heck? This is not good.
That's not good.
So I look on the other side where the damage is, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That tire popped.
Huh.
It popped. Like there is the definition of popped, because that was what it was. It wasn't like they had bald tires and they just ended up losing air. It popped.
Huh.
This guy hit the curb so hard, it popped the tire. Completely.
At that moment, you think that's when it popped?
It popped the tire, yeah.
Huh.
It popped it right away. Because, like, the sidewall, if you guys know anything about cars, the sidewall, where, like, what you see of the tire, like, when you're looking at a car and you see it from its side, and you see that tire, just like that, the outer of the tire, that whole section popped from there. So it had to have been, like, air just pushed out because he hit something so hard. Like, it would make sense. It's like overflating a tire, but let's just imagine he hit it so hard, boom, just popped.
Okay.
So, he was riding on rim, and he drove from St. John's to the dealership. And if you guys don't know, it's like 3 blocks away at most, a couple blocks away. Mm-hmm. It's not that far at all.
Yeah.
So he drove from there, and that was the damage. It wasn't like he drove like 50 miles, and it happened to just popped and deteriorate. This happened from like 3 blocks away. It just, boom. And he was riding on rim when he was coming in. It was just like, tick, 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 tick. just like going up and down. And he comes out. He has the worst posture ever. Like he's curled up forward.
Yeah.
Like curled forward. His back is like arched forward.
Like hunchback.
Yeah, hunchback.
Yeah.
And I asked him like, so what brings you in today? And he's just like, well, I hit a curb. And I'm like, no shit. I swear to God I said that. I swear to God I said that. Yeah, I was like, no shit. He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, all right, we'll take care of you. You can step out and we'll take care of this. And yeah, we just took care of it, replaced the tire. The rim was good, but yeah, that happened. So yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. So yeah, that goes into my question. Do you think there's an age limit, or should there be a required test every year or every other year? What do you think?
Well, the way that it is now, there's no restriction, I think.
Not unless it's
you have
something,
a mental...
Yeah.
Unless there's something in your brain.
Medical or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, medical reasons.
Mm-hmm. Unless you see, like, some, occurrences of, like, accidents out of nowhere, then maybe.
Because...
It's individually. I don't know. Everyone's different.
I have gotten rear-ended once.
By an old person?
By an old person.
Mm.
And she said, yeah, I just didn't hit the brakes or something like I didn't get to hit the brakes, or like the brake slipped or something. I don't know her. She said something like that. This was a while ago. But yeah, it's been a common theme. Like one time I was making a left turn, and it was where like 3 lanes can make the left turn at the same time. Mm-hmm. And she was going into my lane, and I look, and it was an old lady. And then, I see car crashes or things happening, and it, like, again, old people. Like, it's just a common theme. And one word of advice I have for everybody, if you see a beat-up car, stay the fuck away from it. Because they, one, either don't give any fucks and they'll hit your car if they're mad. 2, they'll just crash into you because they suck at driving. Or 3, that car has problems. It just doesn't work right. But yeah, so stay away from cars that are like, they look like they've gone through hell and back. The ones that look like they are being held together by duct tape. And if you see one of those cars, fucking drive off away. Like, yeah. And don't expect them to have insurance either, because pretty sure they won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like, my thought process is they should have it like smog, where every 2 years, from a certain age, 50-something, I'd say like 55, every 2 years, you do a visual test and a reaction test. Somehow
that's pretty soon.
Somehow they test your reactions, and they test with like visual, audio, and then just you driving. You do another driver's test, and then that's it.
That'd be a pain.
And then that would
every 2 years, starting from 55-ish.
Starting from 55.
Man.
And they you can schedule your appointment. They make it super easy and convenient for older people.
Like,
obviously.
my mom's already 50, like basically 55. She's like 53.
I'm not trying to make it too old or too young. I feel like 55 is still young. But 60 would probably be ideal. I think 55 would be just so that it becomes like a habit.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't know how to explain it really.
Yeah.
Because you're still like, okay, well now I have to do this. But like at 60, you're like, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like it becomes, it's like smog and all those. It just it becomes a habit, a ritual, and then you just end up doing it, and you don't really question it. But if you're like at 60 and you're like, I have to do it at 60 now because I'm old and this and that, like,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see.
I don't know. Just to kind of start it off. Obviously, they can adjust the range depending on... they can have all the records of how many crashes and everything, police records and shit, and really nail it down to what age shit starts happening with old people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the most part, that's what I think. I don't know. It should be a test. Something that tests their reactions, tests them visually, and tests them, like... listening wise, because I mean, if they can't hear a cop behind them screeching its sirens, then they shouldn't be driving.
It's funny, like our cousin Fabian, his
Uh-huh.
dad, he can't hear for jack. If you make fun of him,
Oh man.
he'll be like in the back,
Uh-huh.
and then my mom will be like, Martin. He's like, Martin. Martin. And then he's like, Mande, mande. But yeah, I can see that being a problem in driving.
Yeah. I mean, whatever reason, But yeah, I think that's how it should be. And I think that goes into what we started last week, which is question of the day. Do you guys believe that older people should have an either age limit to where they just can't drive anymore, or they should renew it every 2 years, or what do you think? Or have you even witnessed old people driving bad? What's your experience with old people driving? It's nothing against them. It's just facts. Like, you just, obviously, body isn't the same as from, when you're 20, 30, even 40. But yeah, just give us your thoughts below, comment down below, and if you have any other topics you want us to talk about, feel free to leave them down below. We read all the comments, so no bad comment. There is no bad comment. And yeah, so that has been, what are we on time? We are 46. Okay, this is a longer one. But yeah, so leave the comments down below. Like this video podcast if you like, and subscribe down below, and turn on the bell. Anything you want to say?
No.
Eat more rice.
Eat more rice?
More rice.
Why rice?
It's statistically proven by Chip and Joe that it will make you want to listen to Chip and Joe now when you think of rice.
Dang, that's a double whammy. That's
Yeah.
not even Chip and Joe show news.
No, that was live coaching again. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Bye-bye.